Well, you're on stage and the lights turn on. You hear a count, but your mind goes blank. You have no idea how the song goes. Welcome to the third episode of The Ultimate Sideman. This episode, we're going to talk about how we can better remember songs and avoid worst nightmare of a musician's life. That is being on stage and realizing you don't know what you're supposed to know. So let's talk about knowing a song. How do we know that we know a song? All right. Everybody says, "Oh, I know that song. I know that song. I can play that song." But there are different levels of being familiar with the song or knowing the song. And I divide this in three different levels. First one is you're familiar with the song. You've heard it on the radio or you heard it growing up and it's just part of your life. So as a professional musician, you're supposed to recall that song if somebody calls it out and asks you to play that song. And I call this the tip jar level, which means you're playing on a wedding or a club and some drunk guy walks up to the stage and, "Hey, if y'all could play for me, Dock of the Bay, I'm gonna give each and every one of you $100. Come on, let's go, let's go." The band members are, "Oh, we're about to make a lot of money." You go and just quickly listen to the song and boom, you can just catch a section of the song and start playing, right? So you go ahead. "Come on, man, let's play your song." And then you just go, just play part of the song, start the song, and the guy's already happy. He's pulling out cash. That's the tip jar. You don't have to play every section of the song. You just got to know a little bit of it. So that's one way of knowing the song. Level one of knowing the song. All right, second level of being familiar with a song is knowing a song well enough to play it. You know the form. Everybody plays it. You've played it with your band at a church, or it's a common song. Everybody knows it. That is pretty much the jam that everybody calls. And you know, for example, somebody calls superstition. Now, that is knowing the song well enough you can jam it and have a good time. But there are some details that you don't really know about the song, because when you listen closely, when you have the opportunity to actually go back and check, which I sometimes like to do after playing a song for a long time, go back and check, is that how really they recorded it? And come to find out, the bass line is just, that's it. That's it. So all that stuff that we were playing, jamming, all that was extra. That was really not in the song. But it's good enough to, play it at a jam session, at a gig, and nobody's gonna turn around and, get mad at you. All right, so that will get you by. So we have the tip jar level, and the second level, the jam level. And now let's talk about the third level, the ultimate level, which is what I call the show standard. That means this is bands on tour, recording artists, TV productions, a high level of performance. That means everybody comes with their parts very clear and defined and responsible to know everything. There could be things that are on original recording or things that are added. So this is very detailed. Audience might not recognize, but within the band, within the musicians, there is a conversation going on. Here's that little lick between the bridge and the chorus coming up. That is the elite level. The stakes are high, so you got to know your stuff really well. But in all three levels, we are still able to make a mistake, or our minds can actually go blank. So we know the three levels. But guess what? You've done everything that you're supposed to do. You might still face the unfortunate situation where you just blank out. The whole point about this episode is how can we best position ourselves that we don't forget songs. Let's check out the tips that I have for you. First tip is very obvious. Be responsible. Get the song list as early as you can, especially on gigs that you have not done before, or the group or artist that you've never played with. Try to get the songs. That information is very crucial. So give yourself enough time to learn and play the songs. Get enough repetition. The more repetition you have, the more it registers in your brain. All right, tip number 2, songs of interest. You've heard investigators talk about person of interest, right? I call this songs of interest. Songs of interest for me means the songs that I am responsible to either start or to carry the song. The song depends heavily on my part. Go through the song list and take a note of the songs. Mark, I usually put an arrow facing down. That means I play on the downbeat on the first song, or I put a star just reminding me to, this is a very important song that everybody's relying on me to know. Okay? These are the songs that is not okay to mess up, or not okay to forget your part. It's got a lot of consequence if that happens. So take a note of those songs of interest, to make sure you cover those, give them special attention. So after you've done all that stuff, give yourself a test. Take a look at the set list. Look over every song and see if you can recall it in your brain. That means you know how the song goes. When you look at the title, you know how that song goes. If that's the case, you're ready for the gig. And last but not least, I've said in the beginning of the video, if you can't do anything about this situation, if you could not avoid it, it's out of your control, you didn't get enough sleep, or something may have happened during the gig that affected you, you may go blank. All right, what do you do in that circumstances? And I'll tell you what not to do, and that is, do not be afraid. Do not panic. It's because fear actually takes energy out of your brain. The little bit of memory or thinking power you have left to find a solution, don't invest it in fear. So make a conscious decision to stay calm. Bring yourself down to the gig. Let it be. If you fail, fail. That's okay. You know, everybody could have those moments. And in my situations, I've been in that situation, but for some reason I've learned not to panic, and I get actually a little bit of angry and arrogant somehow. I'm like, I'm Johannes Stoner, man. It's gonna work out, bro. You're cool. And I tell you what, 9 out of 10 times, maybe less to be exact, but actually the song end up coming to me as I just let it go through, instead of doing unnecessary stuff or playing what I don't know, which is really, really a whole different thing. So just be present, calm down, calm yourself down. Tell yourself it's all right. You'll get through. All right, so don't panic. That's my last advice, y'all. Thanks for checking in. Let me see if I can remember this bass line.